Hey there, Futures Fanatics. It's Rod. Welcome back to the Futures Fanatic channel here on YouTube. I am fresh back from Mexico, from the Valle de Guadalupe, about 2 hours south of San Diego, about an hour and a half south of San Diego. It's a wine region of Mexico. Most people, including myself, were unaware there was a wine region in Mexico, and it is fantastic. So if you are into the vino or just want great food and fabulous relaxation, you might want to check out Valle de Guadalupe. I'll probably throw up some pictures of it. We took the Defender Stormtrooper version beast down there, had a fabulous time. But that's not where we're not a travel channel here. We talk about futures and we're fanatical about it. And tonight I'm going to talk about a bunch of new products that are being introduced that are going to make them even more approachable. So we like our crypto, we like our penny stocks, we like things that are affordable. MicroFutures are very affordable, and now they're going to come in all shapes and sizes and flavors. It's like the Benetton of trading. So I'm on the screen here for a little email that I received from the CME talking about the growth of the E-mini MicroFutures. If you're first time here at the channel, why don't you hit that like button if you dig in this kind of content. You're going to learn all about futures, one of the best products for active day trading, and also even for swing trading. Turn on the bell notifications, hit that subscribe button, and you'll continue to learn more about futures, and you'll be filled in on what I'm about to discuss at a really rapid pace, and I'm going to get into some of these new products. But basically, about 2 years ago, they came out, the CME, Chicago Mercantile Exchange, came out with smaller futures products. They were 1/10 the size, so just more approachable. You can kind of think of them as, again, like a FairX or a crypto, where you can really buy in much smaller increments, because the larger contracts just used to be too big for a lot of people in terms of the amount of risk you were taking, even if you were trading very small amounts of contracts. So these products have been wildly successful. And now, with small amounts of capital and a lot of control, you can trade things like the S&P, the Dow, the Russell, the NASDAQ. They trade a lot of volume, and those are the most popular contracts. It's what myself and a lot of folks I trade with trade every day. But here is what I was going to talk about tonight, because there's a bunch of new stuff coming. One is going to be micro Treasury yield futures, and those are coming on August 16th. I'm making this video sometime around June. Obviously, you'll have the date here. Now, if you are unfamiliar at all with how bonds and futures work, then, God, this graphic here is a little annoying. Let me just scroll down away from it. There we go. So just really quick lesson in how interest rates kind of work if you buy bonds or anything like that. You learn this sort of is like if rates go up, okay, rates, the actual percentage rate of an interest, like what you were paying on your mortgage, then the bonds actually go down. The price of bonds go down. So it's an inverse relationship, pretty simple. So as rates will go up, the price of bonds go down. And that's just the reason that occurs, if you want to think about the sort of math or logic to it, is there's all these existing issued bonds out there, and then there's new ones issued all the time. So if your rate on your bond is actually higher, then the value of the bond is higher. So as rates go up, existing bond prices will go down because their coupon is worth less if rates rise. So anyway, there's an inverse relationship there. It's been there for a long time, and it's made trading bonds kind of complicated, because if you want to go long bonds, you're going long when you think rates are actually going to come down. Well, the way these new products will work is they'll actually be based on the actual rate instead of price. So if I come over here to a 10-year, this is the daily chart of the 10-year interest rate. Right now, as this is going down, okay, the rate is going down, the 10-year futures product, this one right here, let me switch over to it, watch, is going up. Now, again, it doesn't look like much because it was kind of down in the dumps. It's definitely, come down, but it's going up, right? So it's an inverse relationship. This rate is coming down and the 10-year is going up, okay? Now, how it'll work going forward is you're just going to have a very small product, these micro Treasury yields right here, and I will put links in the description below if you want more information on this. Please do click these links, because these links are really useful, and they'll have all the contract details. I got some flack from people when I did some other videos on micro Bitcoin, like what was the tick value and what's the symbol and all that kind of stuff. So you can just come over to this page. I don't know if they've released actually the symbols on these quite yet. And there's a video at the bottom of this page that's fantastic. It'll explain exactly what I'm explaining tonight very quickly in a lot more detail. There'll be a 2-year, a 5-year, a 10-year, and a 30-year. And if you're not familiar with futures, but you do trade like stocks and ETFs, it's really hard to find a good ETF that tracks futures at all. There is a product called like the TLT or the TNT, but they're really not very good products. They're very difficult. The options are very thinly traded. So this is a much more pure play. And at the time I'm recording this video, there's concern. We had a hot CPI number. Maybe interest rates do at some point tend to go up. Maybe we'll see some inflation. So if you wanted to play for rates going up, let me go and draw this time properly. Rates going up, okay, then you actually just would buy this thing and you would make money. Buy. You would make money when it goes up. It's pretty darn simple. So for instance, going back to the chart, if this was to come down, this is our T line here, it designates trend, comes down here to 1.292. This is where I would buy the 10-year new product. And it's going to be super small, by the way. It'll trade in just $1 per tick. So $1 per 0.01 basis point. Anyway, you can just think of it as $1 per tick. These are small, they're micro, they're very approachable. They're very capital efficient. They're going to trade 24 hours a day. You can trade them without any concern about pattern day trader requirements. Many reasons that finding out about these, and they have really no equivalent in the stock market. So they're a very kind of new class of instrument that most stock traders, all stock traders, would not really have access to anything that's the equivalent of this. Okay, so micro treasuries coming in August. Keep a lookout for that. Next thing is our friends over at the Small Exchange, which is a competitive exchange to the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, are launching a small cannabis futures product. Okay, again, I'll put the link down below. Not much to say other than this is just a basket of stocks that's going to make up this futures product. You might say to yourself, well, there's plenty of ETFs that I can do, that I can buy, and you're correct, but what are some of the advantages of futures? Well, again, they're much more capital efficient. They're going to trade 23 hours a day. I don't know if these will actually trade 23 hours a day. I think currently the small exchange products just trade during market hours, but they'll probably extend that at some point. But there are a lot of other advantages to looking at this, and also they're very small, $1 per tick. Okay, so you can kind of size up and size down accordingly. Yeah, I'll put a link in here and you can check out what stocks are actually going to make up this particular instrument. And here are some of the others that the small exchange has. They have small gold, small US dollar things. They also have treasury yield products as well. In fact, the CME is kind of coming over and copying our friends over at the small exchange and kind of stealing their thunder a lot. So they invented, I don't know if they invented, but they came out first with yield-based products, not price-based products for the treasuries, and now the CME has come out and copied them. All right, now we have another entrance. It's called FairX. Okay, so FairX is also going to be a competitor to the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, offering futures-based products. They're going to come out with two that start, and the one that I think will have the most interest is going to be called the Super Tech Index Futures. So this will probably be a lot like the NASDAQ, but the NASDAQ, as we know, is really heavily weighted to the big 4 or 5, Facebook, Google, Apple, Microsoft, maybe throw in their Tesla and Netflix. So they're talking about making up more than just sort of the FANG names and giving equal weighting to things like PayPal, Zoom, and others. So you can watch their video here too. So just know there is another opportunity for yet another product, which is small NASDAQ-like index futures from FairX. Okay, and then the final is others. I've done other videos on this. There's already out there in the wild a micro Bitcoin product. It's fantastic. It's 1/10 the size of one Bitcoin. So at right now, Bitcoin, let's say 40,000. It's a little under 40,000. So that means the notional value of this is only $4,000. So again, a very approachable product, can be traded with not much capital and gives you exposure to Bitcoin without having to worry about a wallet or an unregulated exchange. These are products that are going to track pretty closely the price of Bitcoin with some of the nuances that are part of how futures actually work in terms of how they're constructed, but a really good thing to know about micro Bitcoin. And then coming on, I did another video on this, but on July 12th, there's going to be micro crude oil. So just like the interest rate products, everybody, there's really no good equivalent in the stock market for pure exposure to crude oil, to actually the price of oil, which would be refined to go in your gas tank, right? By the way, there are actually gasoline futures as well. But so there's things like the OIH and the XLE, which really just tracks the integrated oil companies, and there's the UIO and a few others. But again, those ETFs are not, these graphics, just as I look at them, they just kind of annoy me. But anyhow, so you have on July 12th, and the symbol for this will be MCL. Many of the times these symbols are M micro, and then the symbol for crude oil is CL, so the larger contract. So crude oil normally trades in $10 per tick. Each tick represents a penny, so a dollar is $1,000 move. And crude oil will go up and down $1, $2 a lot. So that's a $2,000 daily movement. That's a lot. You know, obviously you don't have to subject yourself to that entire movement, but it's a kind of a big contract. So these will be 1/10 the size as well, and they're coming on July 12th. So just a lot going on in the futures market. There's an absolute reason to hit that like button and then subscribe and then turn on bell notifications so I can keep you updated with all this great stuff that's going on, which is micro E-mini futures, which we trade every single day. And those have now traded, I think, 740 million contracts over the last couple years. A new micro Treasury yield coming that's going to be a lot more approachable. Hey, if I think rates are going up, I just buy the damn thing. If I think rates are going down, I just short the thing, right? Goes up, I make money. Rates come in, I make money if I'm short. Very simple. It's not an inverse thing that makes your head spin. Small cannabis from the small exchange. A super tech index futures from a new exchange called FairX. Micro Bitcoin, get you some of that. And micro WTI. Now, get questions about brokers where you can do this. You can do almost all of it at one of our favorite brokers, Tradovate. You can do a lot of it at Ninja Brokerage, which is actually clears through Dorman, and you can do most of this, if not all of it, at Interactive Brokers as well. That's a good place to start. TradeStation probably will support all of these products as well. And when it comes to the small exchange, a good place to start is Tastyworks, which is the brokerage that's mostly associated with these particular products. But it looks like, in fact, really quickly, if I go over here to our friends at Tradovate, they're actually promoting this FairX thing. See, commission-free FairX futures coming in June. Anyhow, that'll be it for tonight. Micro futures coming all over the place, much more capital efficient, very approachable, and a great way to get started with this asset class if you're not familiar with it. My name is Rod with the Futures Fanatic channel here on YouTube, reminding you to stay green and trade like you mean it. We'll see you at the next one. Thanks.